Hello! In a moment, you're going to watch a professional learning community in action. The members of this PLC are all educators in the Freehold Regional High School District. The purpose of this video is to show you how PLCs can work together effectively in examining teacher practice to improve student achievement and examining student work to improve teacher practice. We've structured the video to show you not only a positive model for collaboration, but also some of the inner thoughts of the individual team members while they are participating.
This is the true story.
True story of 8 colleagues.
All educators.
Pick to work together.
Collaborate.
Examine student work.
And start getting real.
This is the real world. PLC.
We join our PLC team as they are about to begin a scheduled meeting. The Professional Learning Community's model for professional development has just recently been implemented by their school district. They will be using specific strategies to conduct their meeting called tuning protocols. These guiding principles of collegiality will allow the meeting to remain informal, while still maintaining structure and flow. Each step in the protocol will be identified as the meeting progresses. Let's join our PLC team now.
Thank you for coming to our meeting today. Shane is sharing a project that she's been using for a couple of years in the classroom, and she would appreciate our feedback in order to improve upon the project, in order to make it more relevant, with the ultimate goal of improved student achievement. Remember that as Shana shares the information with us, we are just going to listen as she presents the project to us. Shana.
I'm a little worried about this whole process. I'm not sure how I feel about sharing this project. And that Christian, he looks a little young. I didn't think that we were letting students give feedback. Well, the Social Studies Department has been collaborating on this project for several years, and it's a culminating activity that we do at the end of the year during the 4th marking period. The students are representatives of countries at the UN General Assembly, so they do research, they write resolutions, and then they debate these resolutions. I've been concerned about the research component over the last several years. What I've noticed is that the students are just going to Wikipedia, they're copying and pasting, and they're really not connecting to their country. They're not finding it relevant, and I'm noticing that the final outcome when we get to the actual simulation isn't as effective as it could be. So that's my real concern. How can I make the research more reliable? And how can I make it more relevant for the students? I really want them to connect to this because it is something that's happening right now and there's a lot of potential. So those are probably the biggest issues that I'm facing and I'd love your feedback on.
Thank you, Shana, for presenting that project to us today. Does anyone have any questions, any clarifying questions, anything that you are not sure about that you'd like to clarify at this time?
Shana, if I might, how do you decide how the countries are assigned?
Just pair the students up and assign them a country. They really don't have much say in the matter.
And how much class time do you actually give for them to do research?
There are a variety of research sheets, and I will try and get time in the library, but usually just a couple of days per each sheet.
Okay. My question for you, Shana, is how are the kids assessed? And do they see those rubrics before they actually start to do the research in their projects?
You know, this is probably something that needs some work. As far as the research goes, they're just assessed for completion. And we generally will do a participation rubric for the actual simulation, but it's not something that I've shown them in advance.
And beforehand, do you teach them some research skills and show maybe good examples or bad examples about what's appropriate or not? Or
you know, this is something that we talk about at the beginning of the year, but it's not something that I address when I introduce the project. We generally give them a research sheet that includes some relevant websites, but I can't say that I spend a lot of time going over this. It's almost an expectation, and I think it's an expectation that probably needs some work.
Hey Shane, just one last question. First of all, I'm intrigued by your project, but I'm really curious to know, like, what's the overall timeline for the research that the students have with the project?
You know, the Model UN isn't something that I work on exclusively because it is a culminating activity, but as far as the overall research timeline, they generally have, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks from the time that I give them the research sheets to the time that they're collected and expected to start implementing them and using them in their position paper or their resolutions.
Good, thank you.
Now we'll take 10 to 15 minutes to look at the actual work that Shana brought here today, making sure to keep her focus and questions in mind. Shana, that was reliable research?
Correct.
And to make sure that you're getting this project more relevant for your students.
Absolutely.
So please keep that in mind as we examine the work. And afterwards, we will give Shana honest, candid feedback to help her reassess this project and move it forward, to help make it more relevant, more authentic for her students. She really wants students to take more ownership of this project going forward.
Okay, here it comes. I'm feeling a little vulnerable. I'm worried about some of this feedback, and I knew I should have put in a personal day for today.
Why am I here? This has absolutely nothing to do with me.
I'm kind of nervous. I mean, I understand the process and all, but I barely know Shana. Last thing I want to do is hurt her feelings.
Most people know that I don't really have a hard time speaking my mind, but Shane and I have worked on some curriculums and stuff before. I consider her my friend. She's even on my Facebook. I don't want to go home today and find myself defriended because I've hurt her feelings. I wonder if I have time to go get a Diet Coke before this starts.
I'm thinking about those double stuffed Oreos in my car. I should have brought them. But you know, that Shane is pretty cute. I hope I don't say anything to offend her. Who am I kidding? She doesn't like me. She probably thinks I'm a student. I know. I'll say something really deep and intelligent to pique her interest. You know it?
I'm actually happy the UN project is going to be discussed today. As a member of the Social Studies Department, I think it needs a little bit of a talk about.
I'm looking forward to this meeting because I think Shane is going to get some really good ideas to work with. And knowing Shane as I do, I know that she'll be implementing them in her classroom. Okay, we will now give Shana our feedback. Remember that according to the tuning protocol that we're following today, Shana will not be able to respond to us at this point. It's simply her job to listen. She may be taking notes as we speak, and she will have time to respond later on, just not at this point. So let's begin with our warm feedback, warm and fuzzy, pointing out some strengths of the project to Shana.
Well, I tell you, it definitely hits a lot of the social studies standards for geography.
And you know what else I was thinking? It definitely is an example of alternative assessment, and that's what we're supposed to be focusing on too, so that was great.
And I kind of like it because of it gets the students thinking about like a new perspective, like of people in other countries, what they may be viewing world events like, other than our American perspective on the world. So I like that aspect of it. Cool.
Well, it's a very creative project, and it's probably something they remember, all through high school. They probably, you might not hear about it, but I'm sure they still probably joke about, oh, remember when you were friends, and that kind of stuff. And they learn a lot of valuable skills that they're going to use in college, like debate, research, presentation, and things like that.
Shane, I really think this project is really good. It's very creative, it's meaningful, it's relevant to what's going on in today's world. It's a good project.
I owe a lot to my family for holding me together and loving me and having patience with this obsession of me. But I want to say thank you to you. I haven't had an orthodox career, and I've wanted more than anything to have your respect. The first time I didn't feel it, but this time I feel it, and I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me.
Thank you for all your comments on the strengths of Shana's project. Now we're going to give Shana some suggestions in order to fine-tune the project. for improvement, make it even better than it is at this time?
I hate to say this, but this unfortunately is the kind of assignment that just lends itself, the research component just lends itself to cutting and pasting. It's kind of inviting that cutting and pasting, sorry.
Without any analysis.
Without analysis, yeah.
I think maybe like if you do current event articles, maybe the students can get some articles from maybe that country that they're representing. This way, so they get a better idea what they're going through at the time.
Maybe Shannon could figure out a way to make the students take ownership of their countries.
You know, and speaking of the ownership, I mean, I'm still curious as to why you don't allow them to choose their countries, choosing their countries at the beginning of the year. I think that would incorporate what you're saying, Alan, about the ownership process there. I think that might help a little bit.
Right, if you're letting them choose their countries, then you're also adding a little bit of differentiated instruction in there. But the other thing you may want to consider is on those research sheets having a few more higher order thinking skills. So they're not just writing in the information or typing the information, they actually have to process it in some way. So, you know, here's the GNP for the country, but what does that mean? You know, where does that rank in the world? What problems do they have because of that?
You know what else? What about, in order to make it a continuous, ongoing assignment, start at the beginning of the year, and then with each test or with each quiz, have a couple of extra credit questions specific to that person's country, so that they have to kind of keep up with what's going on with that country throughout the course of the year, and keep that relevant to whatever you're studying in geography at that point. Another thought.
And going back to the cutting and pasting point, if you do have parts of the project where you just need basic information to avoid outright plagiarism, you could have the kids turn in that section of it alone to turn it into .com. So then at least, you know, even just the prospect of knowing they have to upload it sort of deters the plagiarism right there.
And I made a note here about possibly creating a wiki where the kids could post all their research. That would maybe give them a little bit more ownership over the research that they found.
Shana, would you like to reflect on the comments and suggestions that you've received?
Yes, I mean, I really took a lot of great notes. I appreciate these suggestions so much, and I know that I'm going to implement a lot of them. The idea about introducing the countries at the beginning of the year and allowing the students to select their country solves so many of the problems about ownership and relevance. And I know that I'm going to definitely expect them to research weekly current events, because I think that will keep their minds on it throughout the year and then make it even more relevant at the end of the year. I'm definitely going to talk to my technology facilitator about setting up a wiki. Again, you know, so many of these students are technologically savvy, and I think this is something that they'll really be attracted to. And as far as the assessment component, I'm definitely going to talk to my colleagues about bringing in some higher order thinking skills and looking into Turnitin.com, because I think that could probably avoid a lot of problems, especially with the position papers where the research is all directed towards.
Okay, everyone, let's just take a few minutes now to reflect on the process of today's meeting. Reflect on how it went, how you felt about it.
Well, I think this has been our best meeting so far. I mean, everybody talked, I think, fairly equally, and I think we worked really well as a team.
Seriously, I think that this was an excellent opportunity to see how other disciplines deal with same problems or similar problems to what I have in my own discipline. So it was a good opportunity.
I was nervous about this. I wasn't sure if it would be okay with Shana for us to be this honest, but she seemed really okay, and so I thought it went great.
I think this was something good, something that's going to help all the social studies departments in the district.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool to just talk to everybody from different departments, get different ideas and things like that, so it was cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I really got a lot of great ideas, and I do appreciate your honesty. It's so rewarding to be able to actually reflect on what we do, because I think that gets lost in the day-to-day where we're rushing to get everything done.
And I'd like to thank everyone for participating today. I feel it was really very positive. Knowing Shana, I really think she does appreciate all of the feedback, And I know that she's going to take this to a new level in her classroom with this project. So thanks so much.
Well, it actually went a lot better than I thought. Shane was really, really receptive. I don't think we risked any defriending issues, personal or Facebook. And I really want to think about what I want to bring next time that might be able to be improved a great deal. This was a lot better than sitting through a lot of other professional development options.
Light bulb went off. Now I see the point of being here. This was an excellent experience. It's a good opportunity to bring back to your school community and really take and run with this. Excellent opportunity. I enjoyed myself. Really. Really.
I admit it was kind of scary, being honest like that, but the truth is, if we're just willing to try, we can probably learn a lot from each other.
Wow, I knew that would be great. I'm going to be taking a lot of these ideas back to my building.
The meeting went really well. I feel very positive about it. It's a wonderful group of professionals to work with. Shana was very receptive to all of the suggestions. I feel really good about her project and the input that she received.
You know, this was really a nice experience here. I liked the assignment and actually touched upon, I guess, getting the kids to look at the world from different perspectives, but it can also get us teachers to look at our own experiences in the classroom from a different perspective too. So I think that's really a very important part of this, and I didn't think about those double stuffed Oreos once.
That was really a great experience. I got so many great ideas, even from Christian, who's actually a teacher.